Welcome to a hot day in Ottawa, Canada. It's the end of June, which is the month dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And how appropriate that we've received a statue today to restore, and this is St. Margaret Mary Alacoque, who is the saint associated with honoring the Sacred Heart of Jesus. One thing I can tell you is when we receive a statue with a bag, it usually means there are lots of puzzle pieces for us to put together, so we are up for the challenge. If you look at the statue here, her fingers have been broken, her arm, it's in quite a number of pieces. She's associated widely with holding a plaque dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, so this is going to go somewhere around here. We'll resculpt her fingers holding the plaque, and then we'll put all the pieces back together and add it onto the core of the saint's body. First, a quick check to make sure the larger piece fits together without distortion, then on to mixing 2-part common epoxy glue to secure this section to her torso. A quick stir, and shortly application with an old brush that'll have to be discarded. A quick fact about St. Margaret Mary: in her youth she was bedridden for 4 years, promised to consecrate herself to religious life, and was instantly cured. She entered the Visitation Convent and became a nun. So now manually I'll hold the section in place, let the epoxy start to work, and then simple wrap of masking tape to hold it more permanently in place. With these external pieces now being added back on through the use of an epoxy glue, much of it drooling onto the inside, you can see there's a whole area where it's simply missing. We do not have those pieces, so I'm going to end up covering that up with a plaster cloth, and when it hardens, I'll be able to go back to the outside and then to replaster and smooth all of that area out. You get just a very short amount of time to work with the plaster cloth because it starts to get sticky and clumps up very quickly. So from the inside of the statue, the plaster cloth that we added is now hardened and will allow us to add new plaster and resculpt from the outside with the hole now gone. Time is of the essence because hydrocal plaster dries and hardens quickly, especially if you're applying it to existing plaster. We start smoothing the outer surface with the tool and by hand, and with that repair joint wrapping all the way around the whole statue, it's back to sandpaper, more coarse at first, then progressing to 400 grit to hide the weld as much as possible. Next, we deal with the broken and missing fingers. We use a product called Epoxy Sculpt with a good working time of about 20 minutes. It's non-toxic, but you don't want it on your hands or hardening under your fingernails, so I'm wearing gloves. We usually sculpt 1, maybe 2 adjoining fingers at a time, then move on to other areas while the first fingers cure. Looks like St. Margaret Mary bumped her nose and chin, so we'll replace those, remembering to give her nostrils and smooth where the epoxy meets the plaster. A piece of sculpting wire helps stop her fingers from drooping, and you see the gap where I'll add her third finger, and her hand is now roughed in. It'll take a few coats of primer and paint to really make the statue color strong. After the first coat, it's time to inspect because the paint actually makes it easier to spot any rough patches that may have to be sanded further, or in some cases, more plaster added to make it smoother. Her black habit is looking good, but that divot in her back just didn't look right, so we replastered, and here, resanding that one patch. We'll use the air gun to dislodge any tiny plaster dust particles from the pores of the surface, and then we head back inside for Pauline's skills to once again take over the project.
The new plaster will absorb the first layer of black paint, so after this I'll apply a second coat, or maybe even a third coat if it's needed. The broken plaque we showed you at the start of the video is now resculpted. The thorn vine and Sacred Heart repaired, and I'm adding color and trim work so it'll stand out when reinstalled in the saint's hands. Post-priming, we apply premium paints in several layers. Then I custom blend the colors for the flames. The base colors are painted on her hands, her face, and her cheeks, with particular attention to the deepened edge between her face and the wimple, which is the white part of her habit. Skin tones are made up of many shades, Also, taking into consideration the person's age and ethnicity. For instance, a young person's face would appear softer, while an older person might have wrinkles or age spots. So here's an example of a dry brush to blend in the cheek color, rather than the unnatural look of one solid tone of skin, as I had mentioned. Now on to the other facial features. In painting her lips, the base is a deep hue of red, but later I'll add a lighter, more realistic tone. Here we turn our attention to her eyes, and with the tiniest of brush points, the speck of reflective light, so when you look at her straight on, she'll look right back. And finally, I'll look over the entire statue to see if any finishing touches are needed.
What arrived partly in pieces, partly in a bag, and missing some of her fingers, is transformed and ready to return to St. Faustina Church in Cumberland, Canada. We hope you'll please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. We'd love to have you. And thanks for watching.